And joining us live now is Stephania Bell, senior writer and injury analyst at ESPN. We really appreciate you taking some time for us and listening there as we heard from three Bills players and also the coach. You also, I know, listened to the news conference that we heard from the medical team in Cincinnati earlier this afternoon. It was sort of shocking just how good the news was. Want to share just a little bit of that and then get your reaction to it?
We were in the situation where we wanted to allow him to gradually, wake up as the rest of his body was healing. And last night he was able to emerge and follow commands and even ask who had won the game.
Even asked who had won the game. We're told that he, of course, used pen and paper to ask that question because he's still on a breathing tube. But I wonder, with your background on NFL injuries and as you followed all of this, as people all over the world have, what is just your reaction to what we learned earlier today?
It's just so hopeful and optimistic, and it's just amazing how quickly they're seeing these signs of progress. I think the key that you heard from the physicians who spoke today is that he appears to be neurologically intact, and that means that the oxygen supply to his brain was not disrupted for any lengthy period of time. And that's really a credit to the response team, because the quick actions not only saved his life, but also improved his chances for an optimal recovery. So I think there's great reason to be encouraged as of right now. Even though there's still a ways to go, these early signs are fantastic.
Yeah, when you talk about just how incredible that early reaction was from the doctors on the sidelines and the other medical professionals, the physicians who have been treating Damar Hamlin had some serious praise for them earlier. Let's listen to part of that.
Can't say enough about the quick actions of the Bills training staff and then the physicians who were on the field with getting to him, recognizing that this was a very serious situation and responding and saving his life. It was really, really outstanding work from all of them.
And not just saving his life, but his neurologic functioning. The reason why we're talking about his recovery of neurologic function is the true critical importance of immediate and good and high quality CPR and immediate access to defibrillation.
Immediate access to the defibrillation, so important. These are people who do so much with the team, but rarely end up in the spotlight like they have the last few days. What can you say about the medical staffs, the people who are on the sideline and who are heroes in all of this?
Absolutely. They were ready. They were prepared. I think that's the key word, is that there was no hesitation. Everyone did exactly what they were prepared to do. And we've heard this term about the emergency action plan, or EAP, that is in place for all of these teams. But then once it's activated, the personnel have to carry it out. So from the athletic trainers who recognized right away that there was an urgent situation and signaled for the entire EMS team to come to the field. And I was on a call with the NFLPA earlier today, and Dr. Tom Mayer, who's their medical director, named the three emergency physicians who he said were within 30 yards of Damar Hamlin when he went down. They were Dr. Woods Curry, Dr. Jason McMullen, and Dr. Brett Betts, who's one of the Bengals team physicians as well. And they responded right away on that EMS call and took care of him and basically enacted the process that got him then stable enough to be transported to University of Cincinnati Medical Center.
I'm glad you were able to read those names and we can hear them and at some point be able to put a face to those names as well. Some of the discussion that we heard from the VP of Football Operations, Troy Vincent, yesterday was about this emergency action plan and some of what you just mentioned there. It is a comprehensive thing that I think a lot of us never knew about, because why did we need to know about it? What should we know about that plan and all the practice that goes into it and all the thought and planning?
So each club drafts a plan, and those plans are reviewed by both the NFLPA and the NFL, and any adjustments made as necessary. But it basically outlines the role for every individual who is a part of that emergency response team. It outlines the equipment that is present, the location, the stadium exits, for example, where the ambulance will be waiting, where the ambulance would exit from if they would need a secondary ambulance. So everything that you could imagine in any kind of emergency response, not just cardiac arrest, but anything that could result in an emergency response, is incorporated into that plan. And then each club has their own plan that is then ready to be enacted upon. They hope they never have to use it, but when they do, now we know why they're so important.
I've only got about a minute left, but I do want to ask you about the mental toll of all this. It's been such a tough few days, not just for Bills players and the staff, but for so many teams and so many people witnessing this. But in terms of the football players, what resources are available to them from the NFL to try to continue to process all this?
This is a really important part of the conversation because it was a traumatic event, not just for the player and Damar Hamlin and his family, but all of the football players and all of the medical staff who responded as well, and even for extended members of the football family. So between the NFL and the NFLPA, they do have resources available. They have Director of Wellness for the NFLPA. They have Dr. Nayaka Nalamti, who's the VP of Wellness and Clinical Services for the NFL. And my understanding is that there's an emergency action plan specific to mental health as well that goes into place. There's a crisis team that is defined at each club, and those teams are prepared to kick into full gear. And the NFL and the NFLPA have both offered additional resources as well, because what they learned actually during times of COVID was that these things impact family members as well. So they want the resources to be available to not only the players and staff within each club, but to all of the NFL family.
It is a real pleasure to get your perspective on all of this. We've been talking with licensed physical therapist and ESPN injury analyst Stephania Bell. We watch you all the time. Thanks for taking some time for us.
Thanks for having me.